Hello, sweet yogis. Welcome to your practice today. I hope that you are having a beautiful start to your week, a beautiful start to your Monday. Let's go ahead and start today in our practice in a child's pose position. In your child's pose, you can have your big toes touching and then walk your knees so your knees are to the outer edges of your mat. And then from here, extend your hands forward, placing your forehead, tip of your nose down. And then extend your hands towards the top, so much so that your elbows are lifting up off of the earth and stretching through your side bodies. But as we go through this practice today, this is a power vinyasa practice. You might feel a little bit strenuous at times as we go through moving one breath, one movement, and creating heat throughout the body. Know that you always have permission to tap out anytime you need to. This pose right here, child's pose, is a great place to take a few breaths before joining back in. Let's go ahead and take inventory on how our bodies feel. Maybe it feels different than last week. Maybe we're feeling strong and ready to dive in, eager to start moving. Maybe we're feeling like we could spend the whole time of our practice in child's pose. Not placing any judgment, just take notice. Good, and now begin to notice how your body feels. Notice if there's any place that you need to nurture. Maybe that's an old injury or a new one. If you are nurturing your body today, make a vow to yourself that you will make any modifications or adjustments that you need to. Keeping your body safe so that we can practice until we're at a ripe old age. And now begin to notice your breath. Notice the air coming in through your nose. Notice how the belly pushes into the thighs as we take in more oxygen. And see if you can take in more oxygen, more prana, more life force, raising your vibration. I love to remind myself throughout my practice that as long as we're mindfully moving, we're deeply breathing, we're practicing yoga, whether we come into 10% of the pose or full expression. Go ahead and rise up, come up into a tabletop position, stacking your hands directly underneath of your shoulders, knees come directly underneath of your hips. As you inhale, bring your right arm up towards the sky, feeling the stretch along the right side. Now thread your needle, bring your right arm underneath of your left, feeling the internal rotation through the right shoulder. Your left arm is reaching forward. For more stability, you can tuck your toes under. Bring your left hand underneath of your left shoulder. Inhale, rise up. Right arm comes up towards the sky. Good. Exhale, release your right hand down. Inhale, left arm reaches up. And now thread your needle. Bring your left arm underneath of your right. Left cheek, left ear comes down onto your mat. Just breathing into that internal rotation through the left shoulder this time. Begin to reverse out. Right hand comes under your right shoulder. Left arm reaches up. Good. Exhale, release your left hand down. Bring your right knee behind your left. Your left leg will stay straightened out. And then look back towards your right foot on the left side. You can play around just taking notice of how your body feels, maybe coming forwards and backwards a little bit in this. Now bring your right knee back to meet your left. Second side, bring your left leg back. Left leg stays straight. Gaze comes over towards your right foot, your drishti, your gaze. Now bring your left foot back to the left knee back to meet your right. And now tuck your toes, send your hips high, downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, we look like an upside down V shape. We're pushing our chest towards our thighs. Hands are firmly rooted down into the ground. Now pedal up your feet, bend your knees left and right, left and right. If your shoulders are tighter, you're feeling like a pinch through your shoulders, you can always take your hands wider in this pose to accommodate for that tightness. If you feel that tightness in your shoulders, continue to pedal up the feet, bending knees left and right, left and right. Good, find stillness. Walk your feet forward into the top of your mat, coming into a ragdoll pose. Ragdoll, your feet are hip distance apart. Bend your knees a whole lot, placing the stomach onto your thighs. Now interlace your hands behind your back. Pull your arms straight. Gaze comes back towards the horizon behind you. Surrendering into gravity. You can keep your knees bent. Don't want to stretch to the hamstrings too much, not quite yet, as they're not warmed up. Good, release your hands to the small of your back and then allow them to come all the way down to the earth. As you inhale, go ahead and rise up to standing. Deep bend in your knees, drop your hips, circle, sweep the hands up overhead, reaching up towards the sky. Good, exhale, bring your hands into Namaskar and heart center. Slight tuck of your chin, slight smile on your face. Take this opportunity to set your intention. Maybe your intention for the next hour. How do you want to show up? Or is it your intention for this next week? Hopefully it's something in the positive. Take the first positive thought that comes into your mind. That's usually the right one. Good. Inhale, hands come up overhead, reach up. Exhale, pull forward, hands come all the way down to the ground, earth touch. Inhale, heels high, exhale, hips low. Come into your low position. Your gaze comes forward towards the horizon in front of you. Good. Release your heels down, hips go high. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, release it down. You drop your hips, circle, sweep your hands up overhead, reach up. Good. Let's do that one more time. Exhale, fold forward, hands come through third eye, through heart center, all the way down to the ground. Tuck and curl, lift your heels up, hips go low, and gaze comes forward. Just making yourself into a tight little ball. Looking forward, finding that drishti, that gaze point. We find that point of focus, it helps for the mind to calm, the mind to relax. Release your heels down, hips go high. Drop your hips, circle, sweep the hands up overhead, reaching up. Good. Exhale, hands come back into Namaskar, back into heart center. And taking this opportunity to connect once again with your intention. Inhale, lift up, reaching up out of your fingertips. Exhale, fold forward, hands come all the way down to the ground, earth touch. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Pull the crown of your head towards the horizon so that you have this line of energy from the crown of your head and your sacrum. Have your navel into your spine. This will help to protect your low back. Good. Your hands can be hovering into space or onto your shins. Breathe into it. Just imagining that line of energy growing in each direction. Exhale, release it down. Step your right foot back and follow by your left, plank pose. Plank, option to stay in high plank or lower down onto your knees. Let's go ahead and do a modified version first. Lower all the way down, belly, chest, and chin. Inhale to baby cobra. Coming up only to belly button height. Squeeze your elbows towards each other energetically. Your legs are fully engaged. Tops of your feet stay onto your mat. You have like this cobra tail, this mermaid tail behind you. You're lifting up. Now pretend you have a Hershey kiss underneath of your belly button and you don't want it to melt. You get length through the back of your neck. Come back into your plank pose. Plank pose, hips go high, downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, walk your feet forward. All the way to the top of your mat towards your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And drop your hips. Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute. Exhale, fold forward. Hands come all the way to the mat. Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift to Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step it back, plank pose. And keep the exhale, lower it down, belly, chest, and chin. Good, inhale, baby cobra or up dog. Baby cobra is the pose we were in last time. Upward facing dog, your arms are straight. You can have a micro bend, but your arms are straight. The tops of your feet are onto your mat. You're pulling your chest through the gate of your arms. Exhale, hips go high, downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, we'll do that one more time. Inhale, heels high, exhale, knees low. Look between your hands, hop, step, or float to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And drop your hips, circle, sweep your hands up overhead, reach up. Good, move with your breath. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step it back, plank. Plank, lower down, belly, chest, and chin. Inhale, baby cobra or up dog. Exhale, hips go high, downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, take 3 full deep breaths. Inhale your heels high, exhale knees low, hop, step, or float to the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Listen carefully. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Utkatasana chair pose. Bring your biceps by your ears. As you come into your chair pose, look down at your toes. Can you see your toes? If not, push your hips towards the wall behind you even further and sit deeper into your chair. Your weight is into the heels. Should be able to wiggle your toes around. And sit 2 inches deeper. Reach out of your fingertips and pull your shoulder blades back and down. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Hop, step, or float back. If you're hopping back, land it low in chaturanga. Good, inhale, baby cobra or up dog. Exhale, hips go high, downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, inhale, right leg reaches up towards the sky. Now bring your right heel into your left glute and roll your ankle. Going clockwise and counterclockwise. Inhale, right leg lifts up. Bring your right knee to right elbow, holding for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, reach it up. Then step your right foot to your right thumb for your high lunge. And take a look back at your left leg. Now set your left foot down at a 45-degree angle. That means your back left toe is pointed to the top left corner of your mat. Now lengthen through your spine and inhale. Rise, bring your hands up overhead. Breathe into your warrior 1. Give yourself the opportunity to just experience the pose. Release your hands down. Step your right foot back to meet your left. Options here, you can come directly into downward facing dog or Vinyasa flow. Vinyasa flow, lower down. Inhale, baby cobra or up dog. Exhale, hips go high, downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, inhale, left leg, reach it up. Bring your left heel to your right glute. Rolling your ankle and going clockwise and counterclockwise. Good, inhale, left leg reaches high for the sky. Exhale, left knee, left elbow, hold it. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, step it through. High lunge. And take a look back at your left foot. Plant your left foot, sorry, that's your right foot. Plant your right foot onto your mat at a 45-degree angle. Your left knee is directly over your left ankle. Once you have your foundation, inhale, rise up. Give yourself this opportunity to just be in the pose. Exhale, release your hands down. Step your left foot back. Option to flow or come directly into downward facing dog. If you're flowing, plank pose, lower down, elbows stay into the ribs. Inhale, shine your heart towards the horizon. Exhale, hips go high, downward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg reaches up towards the sky. Step it through, coming back into your warrior one. Warrior one, rise up. Open up, warrior two. Warrior two, your gaze is over your right fingertips. Pull your shoulders back and down. But flip the palm of your right hand to reach and reverse your warrior. Right arm comes up towards the sky. Breathe into your ribs on the right side. Notice if you're collapsing through the left and create more space if needed. Good side angle. Right elbow to your right knee, left arm reaches up. Reach your arms at 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock. Be in the pose. Good. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Move with your breath as you exhale, cartwheel hands down to your mat. Frame your right foot. Step your right foot back to meet your left. Vinyasa flow or downward facing dog. Both are best. Good. We're meeting into our downward facing dog. Going directly into the second side now. Inhale, left leg, reach it up. Exhale, bring your left knee, left elbow, left foot, left wrist. Plant your right foot down. Inhale, rise, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, open up, warrior two. Warrior two, settle into the pose. Push through the pinky side of your right foot. And see if your left knee is directly over your left ankle. If it's collapsing to the midline, push it against an imaginary wall. Pull your shoulders back and down. Flip the palm of your left hand to reach and reverse it. Good side angle, left elbow to your left knee, right arm comes up. Roll your right shoulder back, left shoulder forward. Continue to push down through the pinky side of your right foot. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Left arm comes up. Exhale, cartwheel hands down to the mat. Step your left foot back to meet your right. Either do your flow or come into downward facing dog. Take a breath. Good. Warrior dance, breathe. Inhale, bring your right arm leg up towards the sky. Bring your right heel to your left glute. Option to stay or play. You can flip your dog, shining your belly, heart, and your gaze up towards the sky. And feel luminous. Breathe into it. This pose is said to open the heart chakra and the throat chakra. Release your right hand down. Right toes go high. Listen carefully. Step your right foot to your right thumb. We're rising directly up into our warrior two. Warrior two, push down through the pinky side of your left foot, the small toe side. Your left foot gazes over your right fingertips. Straighten your right leg out, reach forward, and now tilt. Bring your right hand down, left arm up. Coming into your Trikonasana, triangle pose. Energetically pull your heels closer together. Keep your right leg fully engaged, protecting through your knee. Inhale, rise up. Arms come parallel with the earth. Pivot the toes of your right foot facing towards the long edge of your mat. Bring your arms parallel with the earth. Big breath in. Good. Exhale, hinge at your hips and fold. Allow your hands to come down to the mat, and then from there you have choices. You can either grab onto your big toes, pull deeper that way. You can grab onto your heels or the backs of your ankles. Even walk your hands back behind. Just find that choice. Maybe experimenting, finding the one that works in your body today. This pose is an inversion. It's bringing fresh blood into your brain. Helps with memory and concentration. It's also said to give a rosy glow to your cheeks. But inhale, halfway lift, lengthen through your spine. Bring your heels in, your toes out, rise up, goddess pose. Goddess pose, cactus through your arms, pull your elbows back. Navel's into your spine, slightly tuck your tailbone under. Good. From here, inhale, rise up, hands come up overhead, start. Exhale, sit it low. And coming back into your goddess pose. Goddess to star, hands come up overhead, feels so good. Go ahead and flow this, going your own breath, your own pace. Maybe adding some decorations with your hands if you have a favorite mudra you want to incorporate. On the next exhale, meet me back into a goddess pose. Good, goddess, straighten out through your legs and pivot facing towards your left foot. Bend into your left knee, cartwheel hands down to your mat. Step your left foot back to meet your right, Vinyasa flow. Lower down, belly, chest, and chin. Inhale, shine your heart. Exhale, hips go high, downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, inhale, left leg reaches up. Bring your left heel to your right glute, option to stay or play. Flip your dog, shining your belly apart, your gaze up. Good, breathe into it. Just experience the pose today. No rushing up. Spy your mat, flip it back. Left hand goes down. Left toes reach up towards the sky. Set your left foot to your left thumb. We're rising up directly into our warrior two. Warrior two, arms come parallel with the earth. Now straighten your left leg out. Bump your right hip back like you're sassy in 16. Reach, and now tilt. Left hand comes down, right arm comes up towards the sky. Keep lifted through your left kneecap, protecting through your left knee. You can even micro bend the knee if you have the tendency to hyperextend it. Good. Inhale, rise. Bring your arms parallel with the earth. Pivot the toes of your left foot in. Toes are in and heels are out. Unless you're pregnant or have sciatica, then keep your feet so that they're parallel with the edges of your mat. Good. Inhale, lift up through your chest. Place your hands onto your hips. And then exhale, hinge at your hips, fold. Release your hands down onto your mat. This time, come into the same variation you did on that first side. So either grabbing onto your toes, your heels. If you've been waiting for the opportunity to move into a headstand, now is your time. Bring your hands back underneath of you. If you're in your headstand, go ahead and start to rise up. We'll come into a halfway lift. Flip your toes so your toes are out, heels are in, hips go low. Inhale, rise up, goddess pose. Goddess pose, cactus through your arms. Feel the weight into your heels. And activating through the back sides, the back muscles of your legs, your glutes, your hamstrings. Now place your hands onto your thighs. Pushing your hands into your thighs like you're, just creating more space through the side bodies. And now bring your right shoulder towards your left knee, experimenting with that twist. Bring yourself back into center, left shoulder to your left knee. Good. Go ahead and explore that movement, maybe going right and left. If you want more movement, go a little bit faster. If you want less, slow it down. Make your way back into center. Inhale, rise up, hands come up overhead, moving back into your star pose. Star pose, bring your arms parallel with the earth. Pivot facing towards the top of your mat, and then bend into your right knee. Good. Cartwheel hands down to your mat. Your left foot shoots forward so that all 10 toes are pointed towards the top of your mat. Step your right foot back to meet your left. Downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, option to stay here or go through your flow. This will be the last flow of the practice. Hinging forward, plank or kneeling plank. Keep your elbows towards your ribs as you lower it down. Inhale. Lift up, baby cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, hips go high, downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, time to cool it down a bit. Let's go ahead and open up through the hips. Bring your right knee into the outside of your right wrist. So allowing the shin to fall where it's at. Take a look back at the left leg. Left leg, we want it to be straight out of the glute. And top of your left foot's onto your mat. And square off, facing towards the top, lengthen through your spine. Big breath. If you can stay here, you could also lower down into sleeping pigeon. Now, if you lower down into sleeping pigeon and you get less sensation, if that's the case, maybe you stay more upright today. You're in your sleeping pigeon, rise back up. Sit onto your right glute and swing your left leg forward. We'll move into a fire log today, which is one of the more difficult postures for me. We bring the shin parallel across the top of the mat, and then we bring the left ankle on top. You might have this big gap if your hips don't have a great external rotation. If it's too much sensation, place the sole of your right foot onto your mat and flex the toes in and come into it that way. So you can either do double pigeon, also known as fire log in our yin practice, and breathe into it. Go ahead and release your legs out, finding downward facing dog again. Downward facing dog, tuck the toes, hips are high. Coming into your second side of pigeon, bring your left knee to the outside of your left wrist. Allow for the shin to just come down onto the mat. Find your good alignment through your right leg. Your toes are touching down onto the mat, top of your right foot. Lengthen up through your spine. And then do the same thing on this side as you did on that first. So if you went all the way down into sleeping pigeon, I invite you there. If you need to keep more energy for your day or you get more sensation here, stay into it. Keeping your arms straight and puffing your chest up like a proud pigeon of LA. If you're in your sleeping pigeon, go ahead and rise back up. Sit onto your glute of your left leg and swing your right leg forward. Doing our double pigeon on the second side. Bring your right ankle now to your left knee corner. The right leg is on top this time. You might notice that there's less of a gap or you have your legs just completely stacked. It'll depend on the external rotation, your own unique individual body. So different poses look different on different bodies. And breathe into it. Let's find our shoelace, our Gomukhasana cow face pose. Stack your knees as much as you can. You can even extend this left leg out. This is more of an internal rotation through the hips. You can extend the left leg out if both glutes aren't anchored down all the way. Stacking the knees as much as you can. But now bring your right arm up towards the sky. Bend your right elbow, placing your fingertips down your spine. Bring your left hand back behind. See if you can close the circuit with your hands, that your hands are clasped and touching. If they're not quite there yet, bring your left hand onto your right elbow. Lengthen up through your spine. If you have the space and you want more sensation, start to hinge forward into the pose. Good. Inhale, rise up, release your hands out. I'm going to teach you a magic trick. We need some magic for our Monday. You can bring your hands over to the left because we want it on the leg that's on the bottom. Keep your feet right where they're at, but you're going to walk your upper body in a complete 360-degree turn. So feet stay where they're at, and then you turn yourself around, do the hokey pokey, and magically, your left leg is on top now. If that didn't happen for you, switch so that your opposite leg is on top. You have the option of extending the bottom leg out. Bring your left arm up towards the sky. Bend your left elbow, placing your fingertips down your spine. Right hand comes underneath. So this side is usually a little bit harder to grasp the hands for most people. I think it has to do with the dominant arm. But if that's the case, you always have the option of grabbing onto the elbow. Inhale, lengthen up through your spine. As you exhale, you have the option to hinge it more forward. Good. Inhale, rise up, release your hands. Roll your shoulders up and then back a few times. Good. Send your feet forward towards the top of your mat. Give your legs a little bit of a wiggle and a shake here. Wiggle and shake. Flex your toes in towards your nose. Lengthen up through your spine. So if your legs are bent, just bend your knees as much as you need to. Even if they're all the way bent up, bend them as much as you need to get a hold of your big toes. Over time, you'll just work on straightening out through the legs, creating more space through the back sides of your legs. If your legs are straight, your back is straight, your chin's away from your chest, arms are straight, start to pull your elbows down. Your gaze still stays forward. And start to pull the elbows down, keep your gaze looking forward. Next inhale, rise up. Place the soles of your feet onto your mat. Knees come up towards the sky. Scoot your bum towards your heels and then lay all the way back and down. Bring your right knee into your right shoulder. Interlace your fingers around your shin. Send your left leg out long. Squeeze your right leg in, squeeze it in nice and tight. And now come into a supine twist where you bring your right leg up and over the left side of your mat. Your gaze comes over to the right. Your knee comes over to the left. Begin to unwind. Bring your right leg back up and over. Squeeze your right knee into your right shoulder. Squeeze it in. Feel the pinch in your hip. Now release your right leg down. Let your heels touch and your toes fall open. And I'm sliding down my mat. And now bring your left leg in. I'm taking the counterintuitive grip this time, changing the hand that's on the top. Squeeze your left leg in. Squeeze in tight. And now come into your supine twist on this side as well. Bring your left leg up and over the right side of your body. Your gaze will come over to the left. Your knee comes over to the right. So enjoy the pose. Feel the sensations that it brings. Begin to unwind. Bring your left leg back up and over, squeezing your left knee into your left shoulder, squeezing tight. And invite your right leg in to meet your left, grabbing onto opposite wrist forms or elbows. Squeeze in. Just like we started our practice today, coming into our tuck and curl, end in this tuck and curl, giving ourselves a giant hug. Bring your chin into your chest, your forehead into your knees. Squeeze in, putting pressure on the internal organs, giving ourselves some love. Squeeze it in. Good, holding for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release it out. Making your way into your final Shavasana. Letting your legs go long. Maybe giving yourself permission to take up space today, taking your feet wider, your arms wider. As you come into your final Shavasana, draw the air, the oxygen, the breath directly into your heart chakra. ease of practicing at home, as you have as much time in your final Shavasana as you like, you're more than welcome to stay here. Anytime you're ready, go ahead and come onto the side of your choice, moving into a fetal position. Go ahead and push yourself up and coming into a seated position, middle of your mat. But once again, if you want an extended Shavasana, you're at home, you can stay here as long as you like. My yogis choosing to come out, bring your hands into Namaskar, into Harsana. And a slight tuck of your chin and slight smile on your face. And bring in your mind's eye that intention that you set at the beginning of your practice. And stating that three times in your own mind as though it's present truth. You're ready, you can go ahead and open your eyes. Thank you for joining me on the mat today. Thank you for taking time to move and breathe and connect with yourself, connecting mind, body, and spirit. Be here again tomorrow for some yin, which is a lot slower paced, but focused on creating deeper stretching throughout the body. As always, thank you for joining me. I'm here because this is my passion, it's my love, and there's no other place I'd rather be than on the mat, joining you in breath and movement. Namaste means that the light in me honors the light in you. I honor the love, the light, the beauty, the truth, and the kindness within you, because it's also within me. Sharing these things, there's no distance, no difference between us. We are the same, we are one. Namaste, sweet yogi.